Hey, everybody, and welcome back. This is Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the last episode before the Clone Wars returns. This is
shortly
recorded the night before, so by the time you see this tomorrow, it is out there. The first episode of Season 7 is back. The Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
Which we'll talk a little bit about on this episode, as well as some news. And then our final thoughts on the season coming out here, dropping. I'm stoked. I mean, I'm like, seriously, I feel like I'm definitely more excited than I was the night before Mandalorian.
Oh.
I was. I am. I am like extremely excited.
It's pretty close. It's
pretty close?
Because not just because of Mandalorian, but also just Disney Plus in general. I was just super excited about. But I think I'm on the same level. Just pretty excited.
Yeah, I just never. I mean, it's kind of like the feeling of when they announced Episode 7 was. I mean, I was under the total impression that we'd never get a Star Wars movie again.
Right.
Yes. And we've been under the impression we'll never get any more Clone Wars.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's that feeling when they announced this thing. Like I just watched the trailer. That was almost 2 years ago.
That's insane. It feels forever.
Yeah, right.
It feels like forever.
Because at first when you saw that, you're like, "Oh my God, it's coming out this fall."
Yeah.
No, it's coming out next fall. No, it's not coming out that fall either.
They didn't say it though.
No, they didn't say when it was coming out.
Yeah.
No, and we didn't hear anything for a long time. And finally, when Disney Plus was announced, it was like, "Oh, look what's coming to Disney Plus, Star Wars: Clone Wars," which is crazy that they're not even. I mean, I don't think they are releasing at all on television, right? It's exclusively on Disney Plus, which is kind of unfortunate, I guess, for some fans. That I would think you would have Disney Plus, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing the banners on Disney Plus on the app say like this Friday, but I was hoping that you can at least look up the episode first or something like that. But no,
I know you can't. It's going to be one at a time.
Yeah, so not sure yet what time. Probably just early in the morning, I guess.
Yeah, probably the same.
Yeah, so I'll have to wake up. Back to the old tradition, I guess, short tradition, but of waking up early on Friday to
of course
watch Star Wars.
As soon as I wake up, I'm gonna. I mean, I'll probably be up late tonight. I'll check it before I go to bed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think I caught one episode of Mandalorian.
The first episode. That's
how
I watched it.
That dropped early. It seemed like
it was like 12:30, 12:45ish. Yeah.
So I'll check it midnight or so and see if it's on. But. But we still have. I still can't find. Oh, so we'll just get into it. I still can't find the length.
No,
have you seen any of that yet?
Nothing. Just 12 episodes.
Yeah,
and that's it.
But this is pretty surprising because typically I feel like Lucasfilm would have done some kind of press screening, and like reviews would have been dropping it all. You know, like nothing. No, I don't think anybody's seen anything.
I think
like Twitter, no one's talking about it on Twitter. Like I saw a press screening, or here's my review of the first episode of,
or even the cast. You know,
and
them saying
Mandalorian. They did that though. They premiered the first two, didn't they? Or
2 or 3,
like yeah.
In that little event that they live streamed the Q&A part.
Yes,
but they cut it off when they obviously showed the episodes.
Yeah, so I don't think they did any of that. I haven't heard of that. No, and I've been kind of watching Twitter. Like, is anybody seen this thing or talked about this thing? Because usually Lucasfilm does a good job of doing that and premiering it, inviting the cast and in the news, in the press, and all that stuff.
Yeah, they always did that for Clone Wars. Yeah, especially I've heard them talk the cast talk about that, where they were invited up to Skywalker Ranch or something like that, or someplace, to watch it.
So, the first episode tomorrow is dropping, and it is called Bad Batch. And there's not really, I mean, I haven't found really even an official description.
Nope.
Of any of this. It's just all I see is 701, the Bad Batch. But for those of you that are familiar with the Clone Wars and familiar with Star Wars Celebration, and we mentioned this on the show before, they've had this storyline packed up for a long time. When they released what was called the Legacy, Clone Wars Legacy, this came out as part of their unfinished animatic episodes.
Right.
4-part series. I anticipate, based on what I see here, so here's just a little preview of the first 6 episodes. Now on Wikipedia, which is under the canon label right here, this has the titles of the first 6 episodes. 701, The Bad Batch, which is debuting tomorrow. 702, which is next week, is called A Distant Echo. 703 is called On the Wings of Kiridax, which I'm assuming are those winged creatures flying in the trailer. I'm just guessing. I don't know. 704, Unfinished Business. 705, Gone with a Trace. And 706, Deal or No Deal, starring Howie Mandel.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
No, yeah. Right. 6 episodes, titles released, so half the season right there. Now, again, going back to what we've seen the animatic episodes, there were 4 22-minute episodes.
Yes.
I'm under the impression, because A Distant Echo, that's the second episode. Could that still be part of the Bad Batch series? What I'm getting at is that could the first 2 episodes be the 4 episodes that were released, but in 2 episodes now? You know what I mean? So I'm still convinced that these episodes are going to be longer.
Yeah. I hope so.
I think they're going to be 40-minute episodes. I think they're going to be 2 episodes in one, and that basically a 4-part arc that we would normally get are now 2-part arcs. That's my guess. Now, I have no information or anything that's telling me that.
No sources.
But based on these, now what you had, share with what you had, because you had some descriptions apparently.
This guy is. I want to try and bring up his profile again so I can read his bio. What is his name? Sorry. So his name is Jordan Mason. At Jordan Mason, editor-in-chief of Cinelinks, founder of Real Outreach Charity. So he might even write for Star Wars. He's an artist for Topps. So he seems like a legit kind of in the know kind of guy. So he put out just a couple tweets about 4 episode titles and descriptions, starting with episode 3, which is weird. I couldn't find any other tweets going back further than that, which makes me think that they're already out there, but I couldn't find them anywhere, the first 2 episodes. So episode 3, as you said, On the Wings of Kiridax. After their escape, Anakin Skywalker and the clones defend a local village. Episode 4, Unfinished Business. Anakin Skywalker and the Bad Batch attempt to gain a victory for the Republic. 5 is Gone with a Trace. Ahsoka befriends a pilot but must hide her Jedi past while trying to stop a dangerous droid. And then Deal or No Deal. Trace, which we know Trace is someone that Ahsoka meets.
Yeah, the female character in there. Yeah,
from I think Coruscant. One of the levels of Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Trace makes a rash decision after learning what they are transporting is for the Pike Syndicate. So, I have no reason to doubt that these aren't legit, based on who they're from, and then just the fact that no one's commenting saying bullcrap or anything like that. So that seems legit. I just don't know if he's sourcing it or if he just knows because maybe he's worked on it. He seems like he writes for Star Wars, so maybe he knows. I can't seem to find any article like that talking about it. So there it is. At least 4 episodes there, and episodes 1 and 2, I can't find anything on that anywhere. But we know 1 is Bad Batch, and 2 you just read from Wikipedia. But anyways, there it is. Interesting. Why? I don't know why it's even the first 6 episodes, and it's like, I don't know, it's weird.
Okay, so I probably should have done my research a little bit beforehand, but it does seem like I could be completely wrong.
About what?
So the animatic episodes we talked about, which was the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So I looked up Clone Wars Legacy, and those unfinished episodes that were released, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Those were the exact titles of those 4 episodes. The Bad Batch,
Oh, really?
Distant Echo, On the Wings of Kiridax, and Unfinished Business.
So they're saying that it's gonna be a
So
4-parter.
it looks like they finished those episodes.
Yeah, but kept them separate. They didn't combine them into one. Like,
Right. So either that they are going to stay 22-minute episodes, or they are lengthening them and added to them.
Sure.
So
So
I could be wrong in the sense that they are only going to be 22-minute episodes.
So first 4 episodes are the Bad Batch. Is Bad Batch
is
arc.
the exact Bad Batch arc that was already
Interesting.
previously released. So, because this says their production number technically was season 6, because over here on the left, on the right, it says 6.9, 6.10, 6.11, and 6.12. So they were actually supposed to be part of season 6, right? And then the Crystal Crisis on Utapau, I'm looking at that right now. Those were 6.1, 2, 3, and 4. So those were the beginning of season 6. Now, I don't know if they'll do those. I haven't heard anything of them doing that story arc, because those titles are A Death on Utapau, In Search of the Crystal, Crystal Crisis, and The Big Bang. So it doesn't look like they might be doing that arc, those arcs.
Well, I'm just trying to. It seems like these episode titles are new for today, and it's just I found another article on another site saying the same 6 episode titles, but no one's saying where it comes from. So I just don't know. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. See,
where or why?
And see, I wish I had not seen this. I read about this on this article. I hadn't seen this, but so here's a quick breakdown of what was deemed the Clone Wars Legacy, which was several things. It was the Son of Dathomir comic book, which was based on written. It was those 2 arcs of the series, which were the Crystal Crisis on Utapau and Bad Batch, and then it was the novel Dark Disciple.
Right.
So those were called the Clone Wars Legacy. This was in 2015 when the series ended. They re-released these, and this was before. I think this is before they actually released the Lost Missions.
Okay.
Right. I think this came out.
Are you saying that? I mean, Dark Disciple didn't.
I guess the announcement of the Clone Wars Legacy and these unfinished episodes were after the series canceled, but before we got the Lost Missions, right? So I didn't know this, but this is, and again, this is something I wish I should have known. But anyway, the episode or the comic, Son of Dathomir, Darth Maul, this says it was actually based on the following episodes. It was based on season 6, episodes 21, 22, 23, and 24. 621 was The Enemy of My Enemy. 22 was A Tale of Two Apprentices. 23 was Proxy War. 24 was Showdown on Dathomir. So those 4 episodes made up the Son of Dathomir comic. Now, 24 episodes, he said, that's relatively safe to say that was the end of season 6, right? The finale. And I just mentioned that Crystal Crisis Utapau were the first 4 episodes of season 6. And then, like I said, Bad Batch was 9, 10, 11, 12. And then this is what's a little crazy, is that Dark Disciple, which I did know this. I know it was consisted of 8 episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Well, 4 of them was in season 6. 13, 14, 15, and 16. The other 4 were actually in season 7. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it just kind of goes to show you how much they had worked on.
Yeah.
At least written.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So you had 1, 2, 3. You had season 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it didn't have 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know what those episodes would have been. And they were probably what we got
already
in Lost Missions. Probably the first 4 episodes of that whole Order 66 thing, Chip. Then you had Bad Batch, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you had the first part of Dark Disciple, 13, 14, 15, 16. At some point, you get to 21 to 24, which is the Dathomir. So then that gap between 17 to 21, you probably had some of those other episodes in season 6, right? So what we got in Lost Missions, what I'm getting at too, is if you think about it, if those were the actual numberings of season 6, some of the ones we got in Lost Missions were actually probably season 7.
Yeah, and that's I kind of figured because they're so far ahead of everything that maybe they were working on multiple seasons at the same time in a sense.
Well, or also at that point, because if you remember, it was about a year after it got canceled to when we got the Lost Missions. I feel like, again, this is my theory, but I feel like Lucasfilm said, look, Dave, you only can finish so many. Pick the ones that you want to finish.
Right.
And I think those arcs that he picked were most relevant to, because you had the Order 66 chip and you had Yoda's whole you needed Yoda's thing.
I mean, think about how far along, maybe conceptually or even animated they were, and then also what he just felt like he just had to tell, not knowing or thinking that this is it.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So what if you had 13 episodes you had to finish? Which ones would they be?
Out of these that you've kind of already started,
right?
Which ones do you think you can finish on time and do what you do justice to the series? That's
Which is crazy that he didn't do any Ahsoka storylines, because Ahsoka.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was just not at all developed into those much. Maybe he recorded the episode, the voices, but not animated it too much or at all. Maybe he just hadn't gotten there yet.
And that's true, because if you look at this list, none of these are Ahsoka driven either.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when I guess the plan of her was really simply just the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, season 7 maybe
maybe later in season 7 she would come back. That would have
been crazy. You don't see her at all season 6.
Yeah.
And suddenly she's back in season 7. That would have been crazy. Which is kind of what we're getting now, but
so it's possible, I guess, again, however, maybe unlikely, but it's possible Bad Batch is these 4 episodes that we're going to get, the first 4. The titles don't line up. The next 5 and 6, Gone with a Trace, and Deal or No Deal, those are the Ahsoka-driven ones. Right. So it's possible 5, 6. It's possible 7, 8, 9, 10 are Crystal Crisis.
Yeah.
10 and then 11, 12 are Siege of Mandalore.
And those could be long too.
Those could be longer.
2 30-minute episodes or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
that makes sense. Yeah,
it does.
That makes sense.
Yeah, especially because those weren't worked on yet.
Right.
You make them longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Cool. I hope so.
But man, I just can't believe we don't know. So now this is telling me if that's the theory that I'm going to go with, then it's telling me that they are definitely just going to vary in length. Like they're not going to be stuck to 22 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Well, why
could be 25. Could be 30. Could be 40. I don't know.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Given that you're not restrained by broadcast now and advertising, I can't imagine Dave Filoni not using that to his advantage to stretch his legs a little bit more, let some of these stories breathe a little bit more. Maybe if he has the budget, then he could. Yeah. But I mean, hopefully, I want them to be longer. That'd be so great.
And here was just another extension. Here's a little bit about some of the other unfinished episodes. So it says in March 2016, Lucasfilm Story Group stated that there were 13 story arcs left after the release. 13 story arcs left after the release of the 6th season.
Okay, so after Lost Missions, there were still
13 story arcs. So if those are about 4 episodes each, I mean that's like 50 episodes, right?
Anywhere from and some could be 2, so some 30 to 50.
First draft scripts were written for season 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Prior to the series cancellation. Brett Friedman confirmed via Twitter that each arc was 4 episodes long.
Jeez. Okay, there you go.
Pablo Hidalgo also confirmed that production season 5 had 25 episodes, while production on season 6 and 7 had 24 episodes each. According to Hidalgo himself, the unfinished episodes from which the Star Wars Legacy consists were the last huge expansion of the Star Wars universe that came directly from George Lucas. Some of the untold story arcs were the Bounty Hunter arc, 4-episode arc that had Boba Fett and Cad Bane.
Yep.
Gosh, I don't think we're going to see that.
Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like we're going to see that. It says they were going to team up for a rescue mission on Tatooine where Tusken Raiders had kidnapped a child. It would emphasize Boba and Cad Bane's relationship to one another as Cad had known Jango. We knew that from going to Celebration. The other one was Ahsoka's Walkabout, a 4-episode arc. Oh, so this is the one that was from 6.5 to 6.8. So Ahsoka was going to be in season 6.
Yeah.
Was to follow Ahsoka Tano after her decision to leave the Jedi Order. The arc was to show her first adventures in the underworld. So this is what we're getting.
Probably,
that's what we're getting.
That. Trace and
Pike Syndicate. See, there it is. So we're getting that. You remember we saw those drawings of Kashyyyk? So this was another arc, Kashyyyk. A 4-episode arc was 6:17 to 6:20. So those were the ones right before the Darth Maul one. Starred Yoda and the Bad Batch on Kashyyyk. As at the Untold Clone Wars panel at Celebration, Filoni talked about the plot of the arc. He revealed that characters would ride on giant ape lizards that were holy to the Wookiees. I remember this because I was in that. They had Captain had Tarful back, General Captain Tarful, and it had Chewbacca. He would play a huge role. Man, I'm telling you. You had Rex and R2. There was an arc of that. Yuuzhan Vong. The story arc would involve the Yuuzhan Vong in a very minimal way. A scout ship was trying to assess the strength of a republic and what Jedi were. Pablo Hidalgo commented that it was a creepy story that would have been like an X-Files episode with an alien abduction event. To better align with George Lucas's description of the Force, the Vong did not have any Force immunity in this story.
Okay.
Pablo said the story never got into the origins of the Vong, but they probably were from another galaxy. I mean, Return of the Jedi. This return, the story arc would be what lay beneath the Jedi Temple.
That would have been so cool.
I mean, the arc would have featured Darth Sidious trying to break into the holocron vault of the Jedi Temple, but Ahsoka would hinder his progress.
It's like that kind of stuff. We always hear about a little bit about the underground temple and Palpatine using it, and to see it.
Oh my gosh! So this one's Return to Mon Cala. The story was 7:17 to 7:20. Would have starred Padme working against Chancellor Palpatine's prolonged stay in office. I mean, and then you had the Siege of Mandalore. Of course, we're getting that one. So this has codes 21 to 24
for Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, so that's 4 episodes.
They could be doubling up.
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just all about money and budgets and funding, whatever. Like, why can't they just make those stories into books or comic series? I mean, doing Yuuzhan Vong, that could be its own new series. You just kind of pluck it out of the Clone War era and put it in like the sequel trilogy era or before that or something to that nature, between 6 and 7. So I mean, just do what you did at Dark Disciple. Just make it into books.
Exactly.
Just do that.
Or comics or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Release all these stories at some point. Make these canon. Yeah, I don't have to. I would have loved to see it.
Audio dramas.
Oh yeah. I would have loved to see this on screen, but man, I mean, give me all this stuff. Now here's interesting. Here, they mentioned this article mentions about continuity, and it said although the episodes went unreleased, the story of Return of the Jedi, which I just mentioned about the temple, can no longer happen in Star Wars canon, given that in the 2014 novel Tarkin, written by James Luceno, he established that Darth Vader was unaware about the Sith shrine under the Jedi Temple. In the unproduced story, Anakin accompanied Obi-Wan and Ahsoka to rescue Yoda from the shrine.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well,
so interesting. Fine. So they
minor setback.
So, well, you know what you do? You just take Anakin out of that story.
Yeah.
And it's just Obi-Wan and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Do that. Release the comic. Let me read it.
Yeah, let me read it. Give it to me.
Yeah. But anyway, those are interesting, unbelievable storylines. I mean, I want to see Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I want to see the bounty hunter thing. I definitely want to see that. I definitely want to see Cad Bane and Boba Fett somehow.
Yeah, it's interesting why I guess it's just not as relevant to the main thread of the Clone War.
Correct.
So that's probably why he didn't finish it. But still, that needs to be
that's a story
finished somehow.
Yeah, well, and maybe it's not Clone Wars, but somewhere between 3 and 4, there's a Boba Fett storyline that we just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like that they just have shelved any Boba stories to really figure out what's going to happen. Because, I mean, they've got, like he just said, they've got plenty of time and material, it seems like. You know.
Yeah, we'll get something eventually, I feel like. Yeah. Well, that was a side note of this episode that I didn't really get into, but that's, again, for people that have just got on board with the Clone Wars in the recent years.
It's kind of a little backstory,
I mean, there was so much
timeline.
more that was coming. Now, again, that Siege of Mandalore was still slated for the end of season 7, so I'm actually curious. I don't know. I don't feel like there might have been season 8, because if you guys get a chance, go back and listen to our Tom Kane interview way back a few years ago. It was actually, I think, right before the Lost Missions were going to come out. And I went back and listened to it, and in that interview, he said that they had scripts, that he was reading scripts from season 6 and 7, and he said that they as in Lucasfilm, had planned on 7 seasons. Now, if it was popular, I guess they could have went on.
Sure.
But to me, season 7, if that was the end, season Mandalore at the end, which is what we're getting now, that feels like it would have been the end.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could have gotten all of season 6, all of season 7. It had some great stories to do that. I mean, because you remember, we also saw, which I don't know if we'll see this now, but remember we saw a Star Wars Celebration 2 behind the scenes of Ahsoka riding what looked like Lothwolves.
Right. It's what we know now to be Lothwolves, But at the time, I don't think Lothwolves were made canon, right? It was just a big wolf.
No, because the Rebels wasn't out yet.
Right. So
she was hiding what I think was on Felucia, though.
Oh, I can't remember the planet, I guess.
And then the clone, but see, because at the time it felt like Order 66 happened, and she wasn't like, I don't know if Siege of Mandalore happened already, and then she went back into hiding or back, and then the clones still came after her. And then she was escaping on these wolves and all this stuff. Like,
you know what? I got to read the beginning, the prologue to Ahsoka novel again. We got to read.
Yeah, it's very brief.
Yeah,
it's very brief.
But
it does describe.
I feel like it's gonna that's overlapping what we're gonna see.
Yeah, it does.
So
it's part of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so that's that. That's the first episode coming tomorrow. Bad Batch. Seems like the first 4 are going to be centered around the Bad Batch and their adventures.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's an interesting discovery right there. So a little bit of news. Of course, The Rise of Skywalker just got announced today. The digital release is coming March 17th. And the 4K Blu-rays are coming out March 31st. No announcement about Disney Plus yet, but you can probably gauge based on what we've seen, it's about 6-7 months after release.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't think until like July it'll be on Disney Plus, because we just got stuff like Lion King and Toy Story 4 that came out last summer.
Yeah.
So they're saying Frozen 2 would be like 6 months after the release or whatever. So, but also on March 17th when it drops, that's actually interesting. That's when the novel drops. So I guess that's why they waited. I don't know.
Yeah. They also released the box set. Did you see the box set for the whole Skywalker saga?
For all
9 movies. I'll have to pull up that date.
Wasn't it like $249 or something like that, or more than that?
I never saw the price. Yeah. It's like a 17 disc set, something, or maybe more than that actually. All the movies. You knew they were gonna have to re-release all that, but
of course.
And the Mandalorian's got some pretty cool merch coming out too. Animatronic Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Baby Yoda. All that stuff is coming out. So you have, the box set. Wow. Now it's, I see the Blu-ray version. It is 9 films. Actually, I see it's $129.99.
March 31st.
Is that what April 13th? Is that what you see is coming out?
I see March 31st.
Oh, March. Oh, yeah, March 31st. Right, you're right. March 31st. Wow, dang! Am I going to buy that? So it's got each trilogy. Basically, it's got its own sleeve. Is this what you're saying? Is this what
I see? Like the whole spread. Like it even shows the art inside and everything.
Yeah,
and you see all the discs here. So you have 9 films, obviously, and 9 additional discs on top of that. So it's 27 discs.
Wow.
Because it's 4K set, so you probably have like, I would assume that's coming with like Blu-rays or like a full HD or DVDs or something like that too. But crazy.
Oh, so it is $249.99. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
$249.99 at Best Buy. Skywalker Saga. Man, I mean, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy it anyway. I mean, I guess.
Where you gonna put it?
I'm never gonna watch it probably because it's on Disney Plus, but we'll see. That's interesting. Now you got some news on Project Luminous.
So yeah, we've been waiting around for a while. So it looks like on Monday there's going to be, I guess I couldn't quite figure out exactly, but it seems like there's some kind of event. I don't know if it's like I don't think it's a streaming thing. It might be just maybe I don't know if it's like a shareholder kind of meeting. I don't know, because I know Bob Iger just had his, I think, quarterly shareholder meeting or something like that. But Monday, if you watch the weekly Star Wars show, the host mentions Monday evening, if you follow Star Wars and social, they're going to make some kind of announcement, that sounds like, or release some news about Project Luminous. That's Monday the 24th evening. And then on Wednesday, they'll do they'll cover the report on it on the Star Wars show. So Monday, you should be getting some new news about Project Luminous, which is great. Really waiting for that. It's going to be I'm excited for that. This will be like the next kind of phase of Star Wars storytelling, which is going to be fun. No movies or anything live action or on the big screen, I don't think. So it's going to be all books and comics and games and stuff like that. Very cool.
They've built this thing up, so it better be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's going to incorporate. The rumor is this whole High Republic thing. Like that might be a part of it, but who knows if it's going to span across eras or all be set in this High Republic era. I don't know. Don't know. But there's a lot of great artists on board, so
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be great storytelling.
Yes. So look for that maybe on Monday.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
But also, one bit of news I forgot to mention is course, if you look at our countdown on InsideTheForce.com, got 188 days till Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. Just this week, they announced Star Wars Night at Disneyland on one of those on opening evening, which is the Thursday. I think it's August 27th, the first day of Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. That night, there's a ticketed event over at Disneyland. You can get in at 6, but the event actually doesn't start till 9 when it's exclusive. So from 6 to 9, there's probably still be other patrons there, but from 9 till 1 in the morning, it's Star Wars Night at Disneyland. So if you're going to Celebration, you can buy an extra ticketed, this ticketed events for Disneyland. So where Anaheim Convention Center is, now when I went there in 2015, technically it's in walking distance. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good walk.
It's a brisk
but walk. We did make the walk over when we went to downtown Disney and ate dinner there one of the evenings. I mean, it's a pretty good walk, but it's okay. I mean, but this was somewhat before Ubers and all that stuff. So now you probably just Uber over there. But that's an interesting thing. I don't know. I thought about whether or not I don't know. I thought about because I think they did this in Orlando too, didn't they? Didn't they have like a Star Wars night?
Yeah,
there
I think,
when we were there. We didn't go to it, but
no, I honestly can't remember if the last one that we went to they had it, but I think the previous one they had it.
Yeah,
maybe they had it all three times.
I feel like they might have, but it'd be interesting to see. I mean, you can't. They did announce that Rise of the Resistance will not be open during that night because it'll be doing its normal maintenance. But I'm assuming the other stuff like Smuggler's Run and all this. But But that's what's killer is that Star Wars Night, not just at Disneyland, but in Batuu.
I know. Yeah,
that is killer.
The nightlife of Batuu. It's gonna be pretty sweet.
It looks incredible at night too. It's awesome. Okay, so that's kind of all the news and everything. Kind of get everybody caught up on that. I think the last thing I wanted to mention and talk about briefly before we close up here is, Clone Wars. The last couple of weeks we've talked about kind of the series in general. 2 episodes ago we talked about how we got to where we are now. We kind of went through the history of the release of everything. Last week we talked about characters, our favorite characters. Now I'm kind of curious to get your take, Case, on, in this time right now of Star Wars, we've come off, like we just talked about, the end of the Skywalker saga, the end of the films, this five film release run from 7 to Rogue One to 8 to Solo to 9, right? We got 5 Disney movies out there. And needless to say, the fan base has been really mixed on what Disney has released. We've also gotten Star Wars Rebels. We've also gotten Resistance, Mandalorian, all these books and comics. I mean, we've gotten just a ton.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, a ton of Star Wars. I mean, I don't know. It's probably not more yet than what we've gotten all because of the expanding universe. But since those aren't canon now, it's like we've gotten more stories than we ever did that's canon over the first,
5 movies.
30-something years, 35 years.
5 movies, yeah.
Yeah. I guess my theory or my thought is going into tomorrow when we start watching Clone Wars again, I guess the simple question is, how much do we need this series right now as far as a fan base? Because part of me feels like, and you've been to most of them too, when we've gone to these celebrations and Filoni holds these Clone Wars panels, the series has been long and finished, and they were still holding these Clone Wars panels, showing us these stories, showing us these, and people, people would go crazy.
Yeah.
I truly never have seen in all of the Star Wars stuff a more welcomed series or storylines than the Clone Wars. I feel like I feel like everybody that has watched the Clone Wars or given it a chance has fallen in love with it. So it's basically with the state of the fandoms from the thoughts of the movies and all that stuff. How much do we actually need this series right now?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see the reaction to it, just because it does feel like that the Star Wars fan base they're just like, I don't know, I don't think depressed is the right word to say it, but like they're just fatigued, tired, let down, disappointed. Like it's almost to the point where it's like we can't make anybody happy. Like I feel like Rise of Skywalker. I mean, definitely a lot of people obviously loved it, and it's made great money. Even though people are still thinking it's kind of a failure, which is stupid, but yeah, you would think that
I'd love to fail and make $1 billion.
Yeah, well, like it's like almost $1.5 billion, right? Almost that. Like it's beat Rogue One, I think, right? I think
did it beat Rogue One yet? I don't know.
It might have, but it's by no means is it a failure of a movie or like. So, anyways, I think the Clone Wars is coming at a great time because this is what I'm expecting will happen. People will use it as like, oh great, we know this Clone Wars season is going to be just good, just solid, compelling storytelling, and because it always was able to deliver. And it's just funny because even in the episodes, like there were a lot of kind of what people call throwaway episodes or one-offs, but I think Filoni doesn't like to call it that, but like the Jar Jar episodes or the droids episodes. And then you have moments that are really cool that Filoni kind of took. So basically Filoni's great at delivering what kind of the fans want and need, and delivering the right amount of fan service, but also serving the story well. Like I feel like he's perfect at balancing all these things to bring us just great storytelling. So one of those examples is the Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi fight in Rebels.
Yes.
Great moment. Everybody was highly anticipating this the entire season or however early they showed it. And then it's like a 2-second fight, and then it's like, oh, that was kind of disappointing and a letdown. But then you hear Filoni explain it, and you watch it's great. It makes sense. So I think people are kind of trusting of Filoni. Like, we may not always agree with exactly how you do it, but we get it from a storytelling perspective and a character's perspective. So I think people can trust and rely on Clone Wars coming back, being that reliable, classic Star Wars storytelling, adventurous, exciting, great characters, great moments. All of it's there. It's just a long way of saying, yeah, I think it's coming at a great time, and I hope people can use this to kind of cleanse their palate and also be re-energized with Star Wars. But now I don't know. It's like it's kind of hard to say for sure, because I just feel like people can't be happy with Star Wars. But no, I think for me at least, I'm so excited. It's gonna keep Star Wars sharp, because it'll keep giving me consistent great content, and that's what I'm really excited about. And I hope people are also feeling it in the same way.
Yeah, because I don't know if you get the sense, but I feel like The Mandalorian was praised and satisfying to fans. I just don't feel like I heard the overwhelming love for that series. You know what I mean? Like it was good, and I think people talked about it, but it wasn't and the only thing I can think about, to be honest, is there was a level of, I feel like there was a level of excitement and unprecedented joy for Star Wars when The Force Awakens came out.
Right.
And it was clear by the box office. I mean, the thing made $2 billion worldwide. Highest grossing.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like $1 billion the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, each year I think Rogue One was a knockout too, but it wasn't as big. But I think the buzz was still that this is a great film.
Sure.
And then, of course, The Last Jedi started the decline, and Solo bombed. And then you got, like you said, Rise of Skywalker did make, it has made a little bit more than Rogue One, like about 20 million more.
Okay.
But it did outdo Rogue One. And then, of course, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then, of course, when Mandalorian came out, I think everybody enjoyed it, but I just didn't hear or feel the buzz still. You know, like, okay, that was good, but, you know. So, anyway, what I'm getting at is I feel like that was a good opportunity also to, you know, get the fans back in the right direction and really appreciating Star Wars. I just think, you know, it's hard to do. It seems like it might be a little hard to do with this Disney Plus platform because not everybody is on Disney Plus, right? You don't have a screen you can just go to and pay a ticket to and watch. Yeah. You know, you've got to invest in that and kind of pay the monthly subscription. I mean, you could just pay the monthly subscription right now, watch the entire thing and get off. Yeah. Like buying a ticket almost, you know, so you could do that. But I just think the Clone Wars has been that series. I think the love of the Clone Wars as you go to these celebrations and hear people talking about it, I just felt like there was always, I just don't know many people that didn't like the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and it's really hard. Like I wish I can see it from kind of like a general audience perspective because we're obviously consuming everything Star Wars puts out. But for the people who are the casual fan, are they aware and do they watch it and are they in love with it, or do they see it as not true Star Wars? Because basically, like, yeah, when you go to Celebration, I feel like a lot of what I see cosplayer wise, most people are cosplaying Clone Wars. Yeah. Either it's the troopers, a lot of it's the troopers making their own troopers, Mandalorians, Ahsokas, Jedis, like the general outfits. Yep. You know, the Clone War outfit, not just their robes. You see so many Cad Banes, there's a lot of Grievuses, a lot of Cad Banes, there's a lot of Asajj Ventresses. Like, yeah, there's so much, love and outpour in many different ways. So it's clear to us that, you know, like all the fans, that this is a widely accepted success. But outside of that fan base, the general casual fan, is it known as well? So is that how it's success? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking out loud, but
no, you're right. It's definitely a smaller audience, I think.
But it has the same, if not more, influence on Star Wars than the movies do.
I know.
There's more content there than any of the movies.
Yes. Well, 125 episodes.
Yeah. So is that reflected throughout the general culture of Star Wars, where just like the casual audience are aware? Because I feel like Ahsoka is kind of like that only character that maybe the mainstream know about.
Yeah. I mean, I think the short answer is I think there's a lot more than we can think, but I do think it is a solid group of diehard Star Wars fans.
You have the kids that grew up with it,
and you do have kids grow up with it. Yes,
you know.
Yeah, I think they're part of it
because they're in their teens now.
Yes. Yeah, definitely, or almost even early 20s. You know.
Yeah.
But I think I just think that but again, you have the group of Star Wars fans that have seen it, the big majority of us. There's not many in there, I think, that are disappointed with the Clone Wars. That's what I mean. Like the storylines they've come to grow, have grown on you, are like the Cad Banes and the Ahsokas and the Rexes,
yes,
and the Fives and even the storylines with Anakin and and Palpatine and Obi-Wan, and especially with Duchess Satine and the whole Mandalorian. I think I think what has appealed mostly to everybody is being introduced to so many different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
We see all these planets that we've talked about, and like Caden Amodia and Mon Cala and Felucia. I mean, you just can name all these different. I mean, you go to you go to Now Hutta, you go to all these different places,
so many places.
Yeah. I mean, you just can start naming all these planets now that have just opened up the galaxy because of Clone Wars. And I think that's what really appealed. I think that's what appealed to a lot of people is that we got new stories, we got new characters, new locations, and they all, like you said, became relevant to this battle that was a significant part of the Star Wars timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they we talked about it in our last episode about characters, and there's just so many significant original as in brand new characters, original characters that Lucas and Filoni created through these stories that are so hugely important. Of course, Ahsoka is probably the most important out of that series, but there's so many now that there's a character for everyone. There's a character type for everyone. Like there's just been so many great stories and so many opportunities for any type of Star Wars fan to love and to get involved with. So I think it was the greatest thing that happened to Star Wars, and I'm hoping that like I just said, I hope that this new season can kind of reinvigorate that fan base again, and that everybody will just be happy.
And I'll finish with this. You know what the most ironic thing about it all is? What's that? All came from who?
The maker.
The maker. George Lucas.
What he did, bringing Filoni into the world, and now getting Filoni, it's been 11 years now. Clone Wars has been around for that long, and I feel like we've only still scratched the surface what Filoni can offer Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much more to come from him.
I think there's
he should be given the opportunities.
I think there's another series coming from him. I think there's. I truly think he'll get. I truly think he'll get a feature movie at some point. Mm-hmm. Either maybe on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Or something, but he's going to get a live action film at some point. He's just too good, and
curious to see what he's given for season 2 of Mandalore. If he's given more episodes to direct or less episodes, but he's just executive producer and writes more.
Right.
Yeah, so curious to see how they've used what he did with the first season and kind of like retailored it for season 2.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible they give him, because there hasn't been a showrunner announced for Cassian yet. Is it possible they give Cassian to him?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, Chopper was in Rogue One.
Yeah, and so was the Ghost.
And the Ghost. Oh, and General Syndulla
for
was
how
mentioned.
Cool that was. Yeah, I forgot. That was so great.
So, anyway, I think we're both in agreement. I think it's a good time for the series to come back. I think it's going to carry the fandom for a few months. I mean, we got 12 weeks of Clone Wars coming, and I think people, this is going to give us something to talk about and get excited about every week. And without anything else besides some novels and some comics, that's really it for Star Wars right now. Mm-hmm. Until we start figuring out what Project Luminous is and when that comes out, when the next, there's nothing that seems like there's no other series coming before Mandalorian comes back, which is not until October. But that just sets up for a incredible, what seems like a 2021 when you've got Cassian, you've got Obi-Wan, you've probably got another animated series.
We're going to get one this fall. As soon as
you think this fall?
I think so. That's how quick he is.
Yeah.
I think they're already working on it. I think they've been working on it, and then I think when Clone Wars is wrapping up, maybe even when it ends, they'll announce it, just like they did with Rebels.
Yeah.
Because like Clone Wars ended, they announced Rebels for that following fall.
Yeah.
And so it's
wow.
I think we've got to get
that would be crazy. That would be good. That would be crazy and good. Debuts at Celebration, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, in August.
Perfect time.
Yeah,
it's just like history repeating itself, I feel like.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a lot to think about there as far as what could be. But all right, go enjoy the Clone Wars. If you haven't seen it, episode 7, season 7, episode 1, The Bad Batch. Go watch that. We'll be back next week to talk about it. We're gonna do. I think we're gonna do some. If you're listening to the Mandalore podcast, I think we're going to do some episodes during the Clone Wars as well, just to kind of keep that thing fresh a little bit as we're waiting for season 2 to come back of The Mandalorian. We mentioned a couple weeks ago, I think I failed in that last week, but our buddy Anthony is selling some outstanding hot sauce. If everybody wants to go to Woogie Sauce.
Woogie Sauce.
He should have called it Wookie Sauce.
Yeah. Well,
to kind of tailor it to stores.
Rename your business.
Huh?
So rename your business.
Branding. Come on, man.
Sauce.
WoogieSauce.com. You go there. He's got some great hot sauce there. Yep. If you use promo code The Force, you get 10% off your order.
Yeah. Use the Force.
Use the
It's not how it works, but
The Force.
Use the Force.
Use the Force.
Yeah.
As your promo code, get 10% off WoogieSauce.com.
Yep.
Of course, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Inside the Force. Got a Facebook group out there. Just search Inside the Force on Facebook and join our group. Get in on the conversations and stuff like that we're talking about there. Guys, I'm telling you, can't wait. I've already seen it by now.
Yeah, by the time you listen to this.
By the time this is out, I'm already seeing it. So I'm already excited. So thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care. We'll see you next week. He's Case Cooley.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.